Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
A man with a concealed pistol license shoots and kills a robber right here on Detroit's west side, but those shots, as we'll show you, were flying everywhere.
We have solved the humidity problem finally, but is the air going to be too dry going forward? We'll look at some potential headaches coming up.
All right, Ben, but we're going to begin with breaking news happening on Detroit's east side. Shots fired near a large group of children outside playing.
We want to get right out to Tim Pamplin. He's on Cordell Street, right in the area of East State Fair and Kelly. Tim.
They need to stop. This is foolishness. A lot of kids is out here, and a lot of kids can get hurt.
A mother's concern this afternoon on Detroit's east side after what appears to be a drive-by shooting, resulting in an enormous crash. Children being interviewed by police as witnesses after this white Chrysler crashed at this intersection on the east side, sending its rear wheel clear down the block and children scattering.
My son called and said that it was an accident in the shootout, and I rushed home. Scary scene.
Police are now canvassing east side hospitals, trying to see if they can find a gunshot victim. I'm being told the people in this 300M were gone by the time police got here. As for the other vehicle, being told it's a black SUV, possibly a Durango. That is the scene on the east side. Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
All right, Tim, our other top story tonight. Police say a robbery victim shot and killed the man who was trying to rob him.
It happened just before 1 this morning near the Lodge and Outer Drive. Sean Lay walks us through what happened and why police believe it was self-defense.
Well, good afternoon. This happened right here on the corner of LeSure and Thatcher on Detroit's west side. A couple of guys approached men in a car. One of those guys had a gun and pistol whipped a guy in the car. Well, someone else in the car had a concealed pistol license and he opened fire.
My window got shot out during the madness last night.
He is a father of 2 young children, a boy and a girl. He's sweeping up glass after bullets flew on his corner early this morning. Some of those shots hitting his SUV.
My daughter sit right here. This is where her car seat would be at. She had to take it out so I can remove the glass. This is where my baby sit at, right here.
So if this was a different time of day,
this could have been my daughter.
It happened just before 1 this morning. Police say some men were sitting in a car here when 2 other men snuck up on them and tried to rob them. A man in the car is a valid concealed pistol holder with a gun in his face. He pulled his own gun and used deadly force, shooting one of the robbers to death. The second suspect ran off.
Just senseless, man. Just senseless. Just go out and get a job. Find you a hustle. It's no point in trying to rob guys. This is the type of stuff that happened.
That, and you don't know who's prepared.
You don't know who prepared. Like, that was idiotic to even try to attempt to run up on a car with 4 guys in it. You got to know one of them guys at least got a gun. If it ain't legal, it's illegal. Somebody got to have a firearm on them. It's the day and age we living in.
We are live tonight with new information about this. Sources just getting off the phone with me saying the robber himself looked like he had a real pistol. It was an airsoft pistol, not a real gun, but he brandished it, stuck it in the faces of the guys in the car, even hit one of the guys with that airsoft pistol. The guys certainly thought it was real. They had a real gun. They fired and killed him. Police tonight calling it a case of self-defense. As procedure, Kimberly and Devin, they will send it to the prosecutor's office for review. Back to you.
Now, Sean, I understand you spoke to family members of one of the people who were in that car when the robbers came up. What did they have to say?
Completely shaken up, saying the scene was so intense, and then when the smoke cleared, they knew the guy on the ground was only 22 years old, and they said it appeared, of course, he had a whole life in front of him. They wished he had made different choices at that moment.
Yeah, just awful. Okay, Sean.
A Macomb County elementary school custodian has been arrested for making terrorist threats. According to state police, the 52-year-old man threatened to bring an AK and 12 rounds to a local business, made the comments during a conversation at Krause Elementary School in Armada today. Police went to his home and seized one semi-automatic long gun, also one pistol. Custodian told police he was just making a joke. Well, state police say they always take threats seriously. The suspect, accused of terrorizing women on Detroit's east side in a serial murder case, is headed to trial.
And in this case, D'Angelo Martin is charged with 4 counts of sex assault and assault with intent to murder. Let's bring in Jerron Terry. He is live on the east side in the neighborhood where these alleged attacks happened. Jermont.
Kimberly, the woman who is believed to have escaped the vicious chokehold of Martin took the stand today. She told the court how she was walking down Gratiot near Mac here when someone came up from behind and did a chokehold, pulling her right into this abandoned house. It's a house where she fought to stay alive.
Back in court again. This time, D'Angelo Martin is forced to come face to face with one of the women he was accused of kidnapping and sexually assaulting. The victim, who we are not identifying, found the courage to sit in the same room and look at the man she claims tried taking her life a few months back.
Someone ran from behind and grabbed me.
The victim testified how her attacker choked her until she blacked out. She woke up in the abandoned house on Mac.
He was on top of me. When I woke up, he was on top of me.
She went on to tell the court how the man never released that tight hold on her neck, all the while trying to rape her.
What's going through your mind at the time that you're getting choked at?
I'm about to die.
The victim broke down as she relived the horrific moments. But she continued to tell the court how she managed to free herself with a pocket knife.
And I overpowered him, and I went back, and I just stuck him. And then I went back again, and I stuck him again.
The woman testified at that moment she saw an opportunity to get away.
How did you get out of there?
I jumped out the window.
She escaped from a second-floor window, partially nude.
Just topless.
Did you have to go through a window, or did you just jump through it?
I jumped through it. I dived out of there.
Martin sat in court just listening, and he headed back to a jail cell because the judge found enough evidence to go to trial.
So this case moves forward, but we should point out that Martin has not been charged with any of the murders linked to the serial killer. However, right now, he is the only suspect they are looking at. Reporting live on the city's east side, Jermont Terry, Local 4.
Yeah, so hard to listen to that testimony, too, today, Jermont. All right, we appreciate it.
A baby boy and a little girl will now grow up without their mother and father. This is Jordan and Andre Anchondo, the young couple killed at an El Paso Walmart, shielding their children from the gunfire. Jay Gray joins us from El Paso with what's next for families in both Texas and Ohio still grieving from this weekend's mass shootings. Jay?
Good evening. The president and most of the politicians are gone now, but the heartache lingers here and in Dayton. Hundreds still drawn to memorials in both grieving cities. 5 days later, the emotions are still raw, the pain overwhelming.
It's got to stop. It's just got to stop. How many more of us do we have to die?
In Texas and Ohio right now, there is the same lingering question. Why? Investigators say the killing spree in El Paso was fueled by racist hate. His family writes the suspect was apparently influenced and informed by people we do not know and from ideas and beliefs that we do not accept or condone in any way. An attorney representing the family has confirmed to NBC News that his mother called police weeks before the attack, concerned he owned an assault-style weapon, but because he was 21, there was nothing officers could do. In Dayton, a newly released 911 call gives voice to the terror during the attack.
There were shots and everybody laid down, and I don't know where my friends are.
The family of the alleged gunman who killed his sister before he was gunned down by police say they are shocked and devastated. An ex-girlfriend says there were warning signs.
Voices told him to harm others. He was afraid that he would end up harming others, which is absolutely haunting now.
As both grieving communities now begin,
And it's hurting. It's been hurting.
the overwhelming task of burying their dead. The first victim has been laid to rest just across the border in Juarez. The first funeral here is a public service scheduled for tomorrow morning. In El Paso, I'm Jay Gray, Local 4.
All right, Jay. Several organizations stepping up to help the grieving families, including a couple of NFL teams, the Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys, both donating tens of thousands of dollars to families in El Paso.
All right, well, I guess you got to be a hardcore fan to tailgate for a Lions preseason game, but...
No, you just got to be a tailgate fan.
Well,
that's all right.
The weather, though, is
Yes.
perfect for it. Yeah. So if it's what you choose, the first game over at Ford Field is tonight, of course.
Good night. Tom Brady in town.
Right.
play, but humidity is letting up, making for a great night ahead. Ben, we can open the windows tonight, huh?
Yes, absolutely perfect sleeping weather. The only real, I guess, headache that we've got right now are the winds, which are a little bit brisk, but they're going to be calming down as we get later into the night. Temperatures still making it to the mid-80s despite that cold front coming through, and it took the humidity with it. Dew points now into the 50s across the area, and you can see they're even lower here in northern lower Michigan. We'll see these numbers drop into the 40s in some spots. Very dry air for this time of year, but wind gusts are still 20 to 25 across the area. Those will start to subside as we head towards sunset tonight. Temperatures are going to be down into the 50s for overnight low, and that low humidity, I should say, is going to be around for a while. Coming up, the lack of rain could get us and bite us pretty good, and we'll talk about that in just a few minutes, guys.
Okay, Ben. The rape trial for former Spartan basketball star Mateen Cleaves is underway. Cleaves is accused of raping a woman he met at a golf tournament in Grand Blanc. His accuser testified she was with Cleaves when she fell asleep at a gas station, and she then woke up in a motel room with him. Cleaves denies the charges. The claims were originally dismissed by a judge in 2016, but after an appeal by prosecutors, the charges were reinstated.